Portuguese population grows for the first time in 10 years thanks to immigrants. That would be us. I'm making that assumption is mostly immigrants and expats and explorers listening to this. But yeah, of course, if you're Portuguese, forgive me. And if you are Portuguese, what do you make of this? The Portuguese population has finally grown in capital letters there for the first time in 10 years. National Statistics Institute, INE, registered it's not massive, the 0.19% growth in 2019, stressing the increase was all down to the numbers of people moving here and becoming resident. Now, I wonder if those folks who we mentioned in the golden visa, who are only here for 2 weeks of the year, are measured and included in those figures. But anyway, yeah, that little bit of growth, first time in 10 years. If it wasn't for these immigrants, the country as a whole would still be losing citizens, but as careless, by 0.25%. So that's interesting. As it is, the resident population continues to age. And is that a reflection on the sort of immigrants that are coming? You know who you are, or we know who we are. With half the population now over 45.5, that's 4.3 years older than it was in 2009. So it really interesting. Oh, look, there's a lovely Practice Portuguese advert over there. Do recommend those guys as well as Philomena. So many ways to learn Portuguese. There's no excuse, everybody. And a lovely shot, a street scene there of Lisbon, looking down to Praça do Comercial, is it not? Right. So, yeah, interesting to look at the population makeup, demographics of Portugal. Aging population, growing ever so slightly thanks to immigrant influx. You may or may not think that's a good thing. More about that as we look at Safe Communities Portugal after we've had a look at the life of Fernando Paixão. Yeah, I mean, the population here continues to age. And I know that, we've had a child here, and I think he's been granted sort of, immediate citizenship, I believe. I'm not sure. So many things are so sort of grey and cloudy and misty at the moment. So much going on, isn't there? But I think, generally speaking, the idea is for Portugal to remain a welcoming place and get the population boosted. Did I hear that, it's close on 1 million immigrants already in this country? And you would think, wouldn't you, from some of the fear-mongering of people, that if you have so many immigrants in the country, you are asking for trouble. This is one thought process among people, isn't it? In these fear-based times, I got to say, Portugal's making an incredible job of, living in a multicultural way, or so it would seem. And we have had nothing but a welcome. Just generally speaking, people are very welcoming. There's just an assumption, I think, that people are people, and like I said before, the golden rule: do as you would be done by. And people seem to rock along pretty nicely here. And obviously, that is a sort of caricature and just an anecdote. Really, it's not not. I'm sure there are difficulties and flashpoints at times, as there would be with over 10 million people. But when you've got a land mass of this size with only 10 million people, and people are spaced out, and there's so much going for Portugal, perhaps those are all contributory factors to why it's such a pleasant and easygoing place to be, and why the resident indigenous population seem to be so welcoming towards other people. Love to hear your views on that. It's an issue of our times, isn't it? It's how we get along with each other.